Good evening. The Wheeling Plan Commission meeting for Thursday, September 14th, 2017 is called to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Secretary, please take roll.
Commissioner Bonova?
Here.
Commissioner Creech?
Present.
Commissioner Dorban?
I'm here.
Mr. Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Kayla is absent with prior notice. Commissioner Powers is here, and Chairman Rafato.
Here. Brooke, any changes to the agenda?
No changes.
Great. Citizen concerns and comments. At this time, anyone wishing to speak on a matter that is not a public hearing, please come forward. Nope. Great, thank you. Consent items, docket number SCBA 1731, Burger King, 425 West Dundee Road, appearance approval of wall signs. And docket number SCBA 1733, Gisela Salon, 109 North Wolf Road, appearance approval of a wall sign. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Dorban, second by Commissioner Johnson. Mr. Secretary.
Commissioner Dorban?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Bonova?
Yes.
Commissioner Creech?
Yes.
Commissioner Powers votes yes. Chairman Rafato.
Yes. Items for review, docket number 2017-10, Sunrise Market Cafe, 901 West Dundee Road. Special use site plan approval to establish a sit-down restaurant. Brooke. Anything?
My only note is that the staff report and submittals of the petitioner are part of the public record.
Great, thank you. Is petitioner here?
I gotta read.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
That's why it shocked you.
Ready?
Yes, ready.
2017-10, Sunrise Indian Supermarket tenant is seeking special use site plan approval as required under Title 19 zoning of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 19-05, Mixed Use Districts, Chapter 19-10, Use Regulations, Chapter 19-12, Site Plan Approval Requirements, and associated sections in order to establish a restaurant within an existing retail store at 901 West Dundee Road, Wheeling, Illinois, which is zoned MXT, Transit-Oriented Mixed-Use District. Standards for a special use. A zoning special use is defined in Title 19 of the Village of Wheeling zoning as a use of a parcel of land that requires review and consideration before approval due to circumstances or effects on the surrounding properties that may adversely affect them. In order to be considered for a special use, the petitioner is required to demonstrate through testimony to the Plan Commission at the public hearing why the request meets the conditions of the village code, including but not limited to how the proposed use will not damage the enjoyment or use of the surrounding properties. Prior to the public hearing, the petitioner provides written statements meant to show that their request for a special use meets the standards established in Title 19. The Commission chairperson will typically direct these statements be entered into the record without a full reading of them at the hearing. Based upon the testimony and supporting materials submitted, the Plan Commission will make findings in support of or against the petitioner's testimony and report those findings to the Village Board. Mr. Chairman.
Great, thank you. Brooke, anything?
Nothing more.
Okay, great. Sir, this is a public hearing, so would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony given tonight to be the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. And could you give your name and address to our secretary?
My name is Hari Gouda.
You could spell that, please.
HARIGUDA, and my home address is 2675 North Greenwood Avenue, Arlington Heights, 60004.
Thank you. The floor is yours to explain what you're proposing here.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm operating this supermarket almost more than a year, and I'm working on one by one at a time. So we started the supermarket. It was not expected as our expectations, and we started the to-go place a few months back, and CAFE was pulling more customers to the store. At the same time, we sell items like, charts, juices, and some fast food items, okay? where we are pulling customers from, not just from Wheeling, we are getting customers from Palatine, Buffalo Grove, Vernon Hills, and a lot of customers works in Walgreens and all these big corporate offices. They travel through the Dundee Road, okay? So a lot of customers are requesting if we have a sit-in place, it will be nice to eat the fast food, and it will keep the flavor of the food. And we can also bring more customers to the store, to meet up our expectations to run that big store. So, I mean, that my intention is I want to bring more customers to the store and to improve the business, okay? That is my goal. And actually, this store is on the main road. The visibility is really good. If it's a sit-in restaurant, I can bring more customers to the store, not just the Indians. I can bring all ethnics and all community to the store also. Right now, it's a pure ethnic store. I'm not able to survive too much because of just the ethnic store only, because, it's just a few customers are coming. If it's a sit-down restaurant, I can bring more customers to the store because, a lot of people like the Indian food, fast food.
Can you explain your floor plan that's up now?
Yeah, so it's like it's 14,000 square feet, the whole store. Right now, the kitchen, we already have existing kitchen that is using almost 600 square feet. And we are adding another 600 square feet for the seating, and the rest of the existing store is not changing at all. The coolers are not changing, and the cash register structure is not changing. We are adding just 10 or 12 seats based on the approval. Other than that, there is no change in the floor plan at all. We are not, touching the walls. We are not touching the roof. We are not touching outside any walls at all. And then no change to the colors or anything. Just the simple seating we are requesting.
Great. Thank you. Anything else, sir?
That's it from my
No.
end. Yeah.
This is a public hearing. Is there anyone that wishes to speak on this matter? Thank you. So we'll go to the Plan Commission. Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you. So you have an existing kitchen now. You're preparing food and people take it off site right now?
Yeah, whoever comes to the store to buy the groceries, we have a meat. So when they're passing by through, they like, snacks, fresh juices. They are buying it and taking to go home right now. So most of the customers like to sit and eat. So the food is hot, the flavor will be stay there. But when they take home, it will get cold, and the taste and the flavor will change. They eat after 45 minutes or 1 hour. So that's why most of the customers are requesting, hey, can we sit and eat? That will be really nice.
You mentioned you want to serve your full menu
Yeah.
with these tables.
Yeah.
What does that consist of? Is that a large selection?
If we have right now 60 to 70 items in the menu. So it's all to-go items only right now.
Okay. I think the only other thing I had as far as the layout was we will probably put in a condition that a trash container
Yes.
is out on
Definitely, yeah. We're going to add trash outside and inside the store next to the seating, and we're going to add another trash can outside the store also.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have now.
Commissioner Creech.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As far as your outside seating goes, I didn't see any renderings of what kind of furniture you're going to be using outside. Is it going to be permanent?
No, this is not permanent. It's a removable only. So just.
If you could speak into the microphone.
Hi. I want to put it's a movable chairings, the metal one.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that.
My explanation is I want to, not a permanent seating at all, where we can take it out and keep it inside night time, or, for cleaning and everything, it will be easy.
Well, okay, that was one of my other questions, were you going to bring them in every night?
Yeah, we can take it out and we can bring them, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be serving outside?
No, we are not serving outside. If anybody, customer want to drink a coffee or tea or a juice, they can feel free to sit outside. That's the only purpose of the seating outside. Otherwise, we are not serving the food outside at all.
Oh, so this is basically just for, sit-down drinks and stuff like that?
Exactly, yeah, if somebody,
So very limited for
very
the
limited,
outside.
yeah. If anybody have a smoking habit with the tea or coffee, they can take a coffee or juice and sit outside, yeah, that's it. But not for, we are not serving the food outside. If anybody want to take the food outside and they want to sit in the summertime for the fresh air, they can feel free to go and sit outside.
I noticed that in front of your store, you have a limited area that would be covered. So, well, you have 4 tables here
Yeah.
for one, and you were saying you were going to have seating for 10, so I think that would be 5 tables, but,
Yeah, it's 4, right now it's showing in the 4. I'm okay with the 4 also. It's just like, I want to show when the people are passing on the Dundee Road, if somebody is sitting there and having a juice or coffee or anything, that gives a better position to the customer. Say somebody is passing through the road, hey, there is something, some cafe is there, or somebody is drinking something, that gives an feel to the customer, whoever passing the road, so that I can bring those kind of customers to the store. That is what my intention is, to place the seating outside the store. If somebody is passing through the road, if they see 2-3 customers sitting outside, then it gives better, atmosphere.
yes, it's a little limited out there, and then you have your cart corral also to the, I believe, the west side of your
Yes.
store.
So, the seating is mainly in summer, few months only. Winter, it's not possible at all. So, hardly 3-4 months, we're going to place the seating outside. It's not necessary at all, but if it's there, it gives nice atmosphere. That's what I personally feel.
And then I guess the last thing would be for staff more. Do we have any kind of restrictions for, fencing off this particular area for the people, like I see at some restaurants?
Yes.
For outside seating, do we have?
There's no requirement.
We have no requirements for that?
Yes.
Okay.
For the inside, I'm planning a 3-feet fencing, so that, the people who can do the shopping, they can do the shopping. Who can eat, they can sit and eat privately with that fencing. It will be easy, 3 feet a wall. That's what I'm planning to put, so that it can show the division between the grocery and the cave. People can sit privately and eat and drink, and the people who can shop, they can shop also at the same time.
But nothing outside?
Nothing outside, yeah, no.
Okay. I have no further questions. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Blanova.
Thank you. It's pretty similar concept as this Fresh Farm, I guess. But the difference is, no, I have a quick question. How the packaging, how it's going to be on a plate or it's packaged? It's in.
So right now it's it's a self-service only. The people who sit, it's on the foam plates, and it's a trash only. Yeah, we don't clean and wash it. So
You have obviously no waitress there.
No waitress, exactly,
My
yeah.
main concern is when it comes to Fresh Farm, it's so close to the doors outside, so people will
Yeah.
walk out with whatever drinks right away to that table.
Mm-hmm.
In your situation, they have to pass through customers with a plate with hot food on.
no, when it's a to-go, they're going to carry in the proper bags, but that place is it's a corner to the store, but they're not walking on the aisles when they eat the food. They have to sit and eat only, so it won't disturb the people who is doing the shopping. That's why I have a 3 feet wood wall where we're going to build, so that it won't impact the customers who is doing the shopping at all.
No, I understand that. But for example, if I decided to go there and try the food and I
Yeah.
want to sit outside, so with the hot plate, I'm going to go through the checking out area and sit outside, or my plate will be closed?
For the to-go, or they want to sit outside and eat?
If I want to sit outside,
And
will I
eat?
go with the drinks and all that? Like,
It will be tough to carry outside. That's what I'm explaining, okay? For outside, it's only people who want to drink the juice or coffee, anything, that will be easy for them to carry that far. Food, it's not possible to
you're
carry.
not going to allow them to open.
I
plates
prefer
or-
not to allow them to take the food that far, yeah. Until unless if I'm making outside makes sense, but it's not easy to carry that far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's liability. I don't have any other questions.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Commissioner Dorban, thank you.
All my questions have been answered. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Commissioner Powers?
Just one thing, so in the site plan, you showed 8 seats, and I saw you mentioned 10. Is it going to be 10 or is it going to be 8?
Outside,
Yeah,
I go with 8 here.
go with 8, okay. Just make sure we go with 8, okay.
You can have 10.
I mean,
can have 10,
whatever is your approval, I'm okay with that, yeah.
You mentioned 10 in the report. You can
Then I'll
have
keep it the 10, yeah.
And we can just add it as a condition that
Yeah.
it's 10.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
What are you mentioned that the indoor cafe hours are no later than 10 o'clock. Is that matching, are the cafe hours going to match
Yes.
the store hours?
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
So our store hours and cafe hours are same hours, yeah. Usually, actually, the cave starts a little bit late. The store starts at 10 a.m. and the cave starts at 11 a.m.
okay,
So, and the closing is the same time, yeah.
okay. I have nothing further.
I didn't have anything until you mentioned, until you mentioned the word smoking. So you know that there are state laws that you can only, you have to adhere to the state laws as to where people can smoke outside.
Yes, yeah.
And there's a distance,
I think it's
15 feet,
15 feet, yeah.
feet from the entrance.
Yeah.
So you need
probably
to,
already have it posted on their door.
pardon?
It's probably already posted on their door.
Okay, but we should make sure that that is posted somewhere. If it's not posted, yeah, I don't know if it's posted on your doors,
Okay,
but you should probably post something especially if you're having seats there.
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might expect some customers who can smoke, so maybe I can post it, yeah.
Yes, okay. And then, how are you going to advertise this new restaurant?
Advertisement?
Advertise, yeah.
Yeah, most of the time I'm doing the Facebook, and we also have a rewards program right now. And most of the time I'm appointing most of the Wheeling customers and people who like my page and their friends and their friends. That's most of the time is Facebook. And otherwise we have the magazines, Clipper magazine. I did 1 time, 2 time, but most of them it's we are doing a lot of Indian editions also there, Indian paper magazines. We are posting that one, but most of the time Facebook is good for me and easy for me. So most of the time marketing is Facebook only.
Okay, but prior, when one of the items that you talked about was the traffic that
Yeah.
is on Dundee.
Yeah,
And if I like food like that, I wouldn't know that you have a restaurant.
restaurant there, yeah. Yeah, for that one, for the wall, I might have to put a poster, like Indian restaurant is available or open right now like that. I might going to put a poster to that wall.
Okay, with that said, and I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
that you're aware of that.
Yeah.
Any signage,
Yeah.
please check with staff before you do anything.
Sure, yeah.
If you're going to advertise further than social media, ensure that you talk to community development that we have guidelines.
Sure, yeah, I will definitely, go through the
Okay,
process.
great.
I might need it also because otherwise a lot of customers who is going through who is passing don't know whether it's a restaurant is available there or not. So
Exactly.
definitely I might go through that process also, yeah.
Great. I have no other questions, or a motion?
So moved.
Hold
Second?
on 1 second. A motion by Commissioner
With the
Powers.
conditions.
Second by Commissioner Johnson with conditions?
Yes, there are 2 conditions. One, that a trash can be added to the outdoor seating area, and 2, that outdoor seating may include up to 10 chairs.
Motion approved with those conditions.
And seconded.
Commissioner Powers and second by Commissioner Johnson. Mr. Secretary?
Commissioner Powers votes yes. Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Bonova? Commissioner Creech?
Yes.
Commissioner Dorban?
Yes.
And Chairman Rafato.
Yes. You'll have something to sign, and then you're free to go.
Alright, yeah. Thank you very much.
Motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
If you could come here and sign these two things right there. Yep. And one of them is yours. You can take that top one. And thank you, sir. Good luck. Calling docket numbers 2017-11 and PC 17-16, Wheeling Park District, 333 West Dundee Road, 2017-11, variation from Title 19 zoning related to building height, PC 17-16, site plan and appearance approval of a building addition. Mr. Secretary.
2017-11, Wheeling Park District owner is seeking variations from Title 19 zoning of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 19.05 Mixed Use and Overlay Districts, Section 19.050.020 Open Space Overlay Districts, Section E Setbacks, Size and Height Restrictions and associated sections to increase the maximum allowed building height to construct an addition to the existing public recreation center building at 333 West Dundee Road, which is zoned MXT Transit-Oriented Mixed Use District, R1 Single Family Residential, R2 Single Family Residential, and Open Space Overlay Districts. Standards for variation. A zoning variation is intended to be a method of adjustment to equalize regulations where Title 19 of the Village of Wheeling zoning has created an unnecessary hardship. Variation is designed to allow affected property owners the same rights and privileges that others enjoy in the same zoning district. In order to be granted a variation, a petitioner is required to demonstrate through testimony to the Plan Commission at the public hearing why the request meets the conditions of the village code, including but not limited to how their individual situation is unique or unusual. Prior to the public hearing, the petitioner provides written statements meant to show that the request for variation meets the standards established in Title 19. The commission chairperson will typically direct that these statements be entered into the record without a full reading of them at the hearing. Based upon the testimony and supporting materials submitted, the Plan Commission will make findings in support of or against the petitioner's testimony and report those findings to the village board. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Brooke?
Yes, the staff report and submittals of the petitioner are part of the public record.
Great, thank you. Who will be speaking tonight on this petition?
Primarily myself, Brian Wright,
And
Louise Kowalczyk,
Louise Kowalczyk.
will anybody else be speaking?
perhaps Brian Lipsky.
Okay. Ms. Bukes, will you be saying something? No? Okay, well, so why don't you please stand, everybody that's going to be speaking, please stand up, raise your right hand, and you all swear the testimony you give tonight to be the truth. Great, thank you very much. And as you come up to the podium, please give your name and business address.
Okay,
Thank you.
excellent. I'm Brian Wright with FGM Architects. Business address, I gave her my card.
Great, thank you very much.
That's close enough. Also with FGM is Louise Kowalczyk and Brian Lipsky. We put together the package, and thanks to your staff, the Chief McIsaac, Brooke, and Andrew, I think we had several meetings, so hopefully we have a comprehensive presentation for you. Thank you for having us today. If you don't know us, we have a long-standing relationship with the Park District, but also the Village. This is the team that actually did this building, so hopefully you like it. Don't hold it against us if you don't. So my point in bringing that up is that we do understand the character and the sensitivity and the importance of this addition and remodeling as it pertains to the campus as a whole. And we have some renderings that we think represent how we addressed tying in the new addition with the rest of the campus. So we're familiar with the location. We do feel that the character and the addition blends in with the municipal campus. That was our intent. The proposed use of the property stays the same. It's currently the recreation center. It remains that. Based on surveys and research that the Park District did, they determined that there were needs for additional amenities in the building, among which we can highlight in the floor plans, which would be the next slide. This is the site plan. This is the existing recreation center, around 77,000 square feet. We're adding on in blue the proposed additional recreation center. And in regards to the positioning of the building, when one comes down Community Drive, you'd see the fitness center here. The main entry is still roughly in the same location that it is now, although we are adding on, and that's part of where the height request comes into play. And in regards to some of the other site features, there is a preschool entry that will be over here with a playground, as well as a drop-off lane for safety for those individuals. There is the entry over here. It will be the new area that perhaps seniors could come in off of this area here in this drop-off lane. So safety of the users was a very large concern. And with that, I would move on to the floor plan. And Luis, would you want to walk through some of the highlights?
Does this have pointing capability?
You just click it to move it forward.
Okay. So on the floor plan, this is the new main entrance that we're developing in front of the existing entrance. So as you would walk in, there's a new front desk. We've got some office spaces beyond it. The existing lounge area here will get a facelift, and then we've got some program spaces here and to the rear. The existing locker rooms will receive a facelift. Those lead to the existing natatorium. Existing gymnasium remains, and at this end is going to be our new preschool wing. As Brian mentioned, we're developing a new entrance here for that, for security purposes. To the right side as you enter is where our fitness addition is. So we've got lounge seating along here. You enter the fitness center. We have a group exercise room and some dedicated locker room facilities that also lead to the natatorium. Also with the fitness center, on the second level are some additional group exercise rooms. As you continue down the corridor, we've got some public toilets that serve the new gym. Oh, wrong way. At the second floor, as you come up, we've got a new upper lobby that overlooks. So to the left are some of the existing program spaces in this location and here. To the left is the new administrative wing. So this is taking up existing space within the building. It's being rebuilt out for administration. We've got a new boardroom here. And then basically we are just overlooking to the other new portion of the building. There would be access to the group exercise rooms that overlook the fitness area if one needed to use the existing elevator in this location.
Sure. So in regards to the landscape plan, walking through, the intent of the new landscaping would be very similar to what's out there now, which are landscaping beds and the remaining turf areas relatively similar to what you see out there now, which complements the building. One of the requests that came up, which is at this group's discretion, is to have the ordinance reads that the landscape beds would be irrigated. What the Park District currently does and has always done is that there is no irrigation in the landscape beds around the building, just in some of the drive aisles, Parkway. And so we feel that they've demonstrated over the last 20 years the ability to water those plants. If you look out, nothing's dead, this is what they do. So they've maintained it very well. One of the requests is that you allow that to remain and not have irrigation put in. Obviously, budgetary concerns. And again, the demonstration over the years of the Park District's ability to properly maintain, I think, has been pretty thoroughly established. That would be a request of this group. In regards to the plantings and the trees, there was, as part of the submission, the plant types and the tree types which hopefully you've had a chance to review. So again, very similar in nature to what's there at this time. In terms of the exterior, we did bring some samples. The existing building is here to the left on the image. We're trying to create a new heightened entry so that there's a lot more visibility, a very clear entrance into the building. The materials to the sides where the new addition is, we've actually selected the exact bricks colors that are there now, which if you did want to see, this is the exact red. We were able to duplicate that. The majority of the building is the red. It does have black stripes every couple feet or so. You can see them a little bit on there. So the idea is that the building will blend in with the existing building. And of course, the intent of some of the rhythm that you see with these piers is very similar to the rhythm that you see on the Village Hall, where there's glass and then piers, and you also see it on the police station as well. So we're really trying to tie the look of the building in with the campus as a whole, including the metal banding up on the top here as well. So very, very similar to the materials that were used here, again, for that campus feel. Here's sort of a blow-up. We feel that this will allow people to see in, but also the patrons to see out. This would be the back side of the building, which is the gymnasium. Part of the height request is that in order to play basketball and volleyball effectively, you need to be at a certain height. So part of our request is that the gym would be at 36 feet. The height of that entry was 38'8". The ordinance currently reads a maximum of 30 feet. The current building is at 35 feet, so even the existing building is higher than the existing ordinance. So part of our request tonight is for the acceptance of that height. This is an image of the entry. Here's sort of an overview as well. And here are some elevations that were also part of the submittal. Relative to the adjacent buildings, we feel that not only in relationship to itself, but also to the existing campus as well as town center, that the height of the building is not disproportionately or unacceptably high. We feel like it programmatically and functionally needs to be that high, and as it relates to the other buildings on campus, that it befits that request. Sort of an overview of the site plan at large. We do have some other materials. I will see if I can go. So the precast of the gymnasium would be this cast buff-colored look, which also happens to match, the intent is to match the limestone banding or cast stone banding that's on the existing building. So all of the materials can realistically be found somewhere else on campus, either in the existing building or actually in this building or even the police station. So there's an attempt made to tie it all in, including the anodized, clear anodized aluminum frames, which you literally see here. So hopefully, and that metal panel that we mentioned is this. So very similar materials, in some cases exactly the same materials. In terms of some sustainability, the windows are insulated glass, very similar to these windows. You know, in terms of color, tint, and insulated value.
These just represent the colors on the existing building.
So,
We needed them for reference.
so at this time, we'd like to turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone that wishes to speak on this matter? No, thank you. We'll start with Commissioner Powers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Building looks really nice.
Thank you.
Question I have is, the current building, you said that the tallest point in the current building is 35 feet? And what part of the existing structure would that be? Do you know?
It is the,
If you could speak into the microphone, thank you.
If you could see this image, I'll move the arrow. It's the mansard pitched roof up here is the 35 feet. And then this is the new entry, which is the piece that's slightly taller. I think it's appropriate that the entry be taller than the pieces next to it. You know, it sort of announces that it's the entry. So it's 3'8" taller than the existing adjacent structure. So taller, but not, you know, inappropriately taller to make that entry.
And then the gym in the back, the new gym, that's a little bit
The
taller.
gym in the back is 36 feet, and that's
Okay.
based on the functional elements of volleyball, and if you've seen us play volleyball, you'd understand.
That's fine. Next question I got is for the fire department. Ron, there was something about fire department truck turning radiuses, southwest corner of the structure. Can you guys indicate where that is on the site? And then also after that, can we just talk about if the fire department has any concerns about the west drive aisle? It is a mention of 24 and a half feet versus 26 and a half. So maybe start with the truck turning radius and then talk about the drive aisle width.
If I recall, I believe that the turning radius was the reconfigured drive aisle and parking. I think it's a drop-off area for the daycare center. Fire apparatus won't be able to go into that space, which isn't a significant issue, as long as the turning radius to the outer drive remains the same. The width issue would be a matter of if there was any parking allowed, that would have an impact, but it meets the fire lane requirements at the width it is.
So do we have an issue with the turning radius right now?
The only issue is in the fact that you can't access into that, what shows in the drawing with the black arrows, I believe they are,
Oh,
in there, which is where the fire department connection is. So it would lead to some longer hose lays. But again, in the construction process, the fire department connection could possibly be relocated, which we don't know at this point. But as far as driving down that outer drive, there's no significant change.
and the outer drive, you mean the far west of the
That-
property?
The existing north-south driveway.
Okay.
Correct.
This guy.
Okay. So what you're saying is that the turning radius, you guys are going to work with it, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. With the addition, is there going to be any additional trash enclosure? Are you going to use the trash enclosure that's there currently?
Yeah, the trash enclosure that's there now will be the future trash enclosure as well.
So do you feel like you have enough room in that trash enclosure to handle the new addition?
Yeah, because a lot of the spaces in here are large, open fitness area, and so they're not necessarily large generators of trash.
Okay.
As opposed to offices or something with a large paper use. And the same with the gymnasium. They're very large, open spaces.
So in the new addition itself, would there be, there was a mention about rooftop screening. So what type of, are you putting some type of units, air conditioning units, HVAC units on the new addition? And then does the screening protrude up above that? And what type of material is the actual screening? I mean, is it something that you have on the existing building that you're just gonna, put it on the new building?
The existing building actually has the mansard roof, which hides a lot of the units.
Okay.
In this case, we would put units up on top, replacing some of the units that are in that mansard area. So when I say the mansard area,
Yep.
Boy, I went too far, hold on. So these are some of the units that you can't see currently because the roof here covers them. So we are replacing some of the units in there, and those would not need a screen. It's these boxes over here that we're showing, and we are showing a screen along. Currently, this is higher, this parapet goes higher, and we're pretty preliminary at this stage, but we may actually move them closer together and put a little corral here with a prefabricated metal roof screen material to enclose that in.
So it probably wouldn't go up more than a couple feet then, right?
Well, I think that relative to if you were standing up there, they might be 6 feet tall or so, but from sight lines,
Sure.
when you get further out here, because of the sight line of the building, you probably, like this, for example, you would not see them. You'd probably see them if you were on the other side of the park, but at that point, we don't feel, this would be a good indication of, if there's a unit tucked back here, you probably wouldn't even see it.
Okay.
And if you did, there's a screen.
In the packet, I was looking at, I think, the site plan. Is there currently underground stormwater management in there? Are there actually vaults in there?
We are proposing potentially the inclusion of some underground storage units.
Yeah, because I saw like four rectangles, so you guys are going to go with, and it's currently not there. You're putting that in, is that right?
Right.
Okay, that was interesting. Any gutter and downspout locations on the building?
There are some existing downspouts and gutters on the existing building.
Oh, how about the, I'm sorry, yeah, the existing one and the new
With the
addition?
new, we were going to go internal roof drains so that you wouldn't see them.
Okay, great. With the new addition going on, you guys are going to be pulling, it looks like you're going to be removing a lot of trees. Because I saw, it looked like on the plan, you had, like, I don't know, I thought it was, I saw a plan, they had a mess of X's out there, like you were removing trees. Which, I don't know what page that was. That wasn't our packet, I saw. I'd have to look. But I was concerned about that.
We are putting in trees back in, which would match the ordinance in caliper and quantity. That's the intent.
But I mean, you had trees there that you were removing. My question is are you going to try to save those trees and maybe use them like in Heritage Park somewhere?
Well, the plan is that if they can be used on site or somewhere else in Heritage Park, that they're going to make that assessment. If they can't, then they won't. But
Okay.
we are replacing trees to meet the intent of the ordinance.
The other thing, is there, in front of the new addition, like going out to the Village Hall here, is there a sidewalk? There's a sidewalk going out, or
Yeah.
you use the existing walk that's out here right now?
It's essentially, a lot of it is well, actually, let me go back. There will be a walk that connects this path here to this intersection, and then from that intersection, you could get to Village Hall. So
Does that walk currently exist? Because I think I went by it, it looks like it does.
there is a walk there, but I think it's a little bit, see how the walk is now sort of inset?
Yeah.
And so, yes, there'll be a walk. This is like the current aerial photo. And then the new has a new walk going in as well.
Okay, and when I looked at the photometric plan, I know it's a walk, and I don't know how often it would be used, but it looked like out by the street there, it's like there's no light at all. From what I could see, it didn't look like there was any light. I know it's added expense. Have you thought about putting any type of bollard lighting to give any light to that sidewalk area going out there if somebody wanted to walk
If
that?
there's a deficiency, we can add it. I think that we showed lighting for this area, and that by the time you get out to this area, that some of the village lighting structures, we did not calculate the village lighting structures, just the new. So what's not shown on that photometric is the impact of existing lighting going the other way. Does that make sense?
But the photometric plan you presented, I mean, okay, could you go back to can you go back to the elevation again and the new one? Yeah, right there. So are there any existing light fixtures, are there any fixtures going on the new addition, or are you're getting like the lighting from the glass, from the
We would
inside?
get lighting from there, but we are also adding,
I could speak to this. So as part of the submittal packet, we had a photometrics exhibit, which covered all of the existing lighting that was in the front of the parking lot. As you can see there, the light spill is covering a lot of that walkway area. We don't have the full extent of it, but what we show here, there's still some light spillage and.
Out to the sidewalk?
Yeah.
Okay.
so when you get to the corner out here, it would basically be like it is now.
All right, I just hope there would be some kind of, leakage out to that point. Last question, is any part of the existing site irrigated at all? Is there any irrigation in there at all?
I believe that there's irrigation in parkways or,
Parking lot islands
If you
and,
could,
like here.
if you can come up and state your name,
Okay, I'll go back to this.
oh, we all know you.
Jan Bukes, Wheeling Park District.
Thank you.
Okay.
If you could say that again, what you just indicated.
So in these parking beds, or the beds in the parking lot, there is some irrigation there, okay? As far as the landscape beds around the building, we do not have irrigation. Some of the turf areas, we have had irrigation down in the parking lot in this area. We currently have no irrigation along the existing building.
okay, that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Commissioner Dorvan.
Thank you. First of all, I love the way it all looks, and I love the fact that you've tried to coordinate the campus look and continue that coloring theme, so I appreciate that. I also liked all your pictures and your landscaping, and I think that all looked great. And normally, I'm, very, very much in favor of irrigation, but having trusted the Park District in the past, because you've always done such an excellent job, I would be willing to rescind that request, only because of past experiences with the Park District. So I think it just is going to look amazing, and thank you very much for such a complete packet.
Thank you.
I'm done.
Thank you. Commissioner Creech.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also would like to thank you for all the hard work that you've all done to pull this together. It looks like a fantastic building. Congratulations for all your work, and I'm looking forward to you getting started with it. So
Thank you.
that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you. So right now, the highest point of the existing building is 35 feet, correct?
Yes, correct.
So, Brooke, was there a zoning variation when it first went up? I mean,
It
may have
is there a
predated,
variation
not
tied to
It may
this
have
property
predated that,
already?
I don't know.
I'm looking at the zoning legislation listed on page 2 of the staff report. I do not see a height variation. However, the overlay district was not in place when the building was
And
constructed.
that's where the height got
I believe so.
tied into? Okay. I was just wondering, because I thought if there was already a variation,
Right.
then we're just spinning our wheels here. Okay. Let's see, we talked about the irrigation. In the staff report, it talks about 10 additional parking spaces at the southwest end. But in reality, what I'm seeing is 30-plus spaces now that are going away and being replaced with 10. Am I seeing that correctly?
I think in this location, these are the location where we're adding spaces, yes. We still, when you add up the aggregate spaces, we still exceed the requirement.
Oh, I understand that. I was just, the way it was written up in the report made it sound like you're adding 10 and actually taking away 20. I think everything else has been answered for me. Thank you.
Does that need to be designated, Brooke, as far as?
I can correct that in the staff report, but as the petitioner stated, it does not impact the actual
Oh,
parking
yeah,
requirement. But I can
Right.
clarify
Yeah, I'm
that
not-
when this goes
yeah.
to the board in their report.
Right, yeah, I'm not concerned
Sure.
about that aspect of, but it's just that the report goes to the, the village board, and we want to make sure that that's correct. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Blanova.
Thank you. I don't have any questions. Beautiful project. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I have a couple of questions, and you may have said it, but could you go back to the color rendering of the front of the building? And I wish these would have been in our packet. These were very, very helpful. There was one closer of the entrance. That one, great. So that dark area where the symbol is,
This here?
yes.
Or this-
What is that material?
So if you look to the left here, there's red brick and then there's black stripes.
Okay?
And then on this side of the building, there's red brick with black stripes. So just to be different, we're going to use the black stripe, which as the field color, and then put the logo on it.
Oh, fantastic.
So an inversion of the
Great.
what's to the sides. Otherwise, it might look a little monotonous, so we don't pop it out.
So then the framing around the windows, and that front entrance is going to be beautiful. That really looks nice. Is that framing, it gives the appearance here that it's black, but is it?
No, yeah, it's going to be, we're lucky to be in this building because it'll look it'll be the clear anodized aluminum, which is this sample, which in reality looks like this.
Okay, all right, okay.
So again, the spirit is that tying in with the campus at large.
Okay, good. So, and this is a perfect example for my next question. The sidewalks here, these are existing?
Yes, with the exception of like right in front.
And you're going with existing concrete? You're not going with anything, you're not going with pavers or anything? This is just going to be brick, concrete sidewalks throughout, in any new areas?
Go ahead.
Yeah, correct. We were just planning to use concrete. But if you look at the landscape plan, it shows what the intent is of that front area where we're actually creating a little bit of a planting zone in front of the building and kind of a patio area that kind of replaces the patio that we're taking away from the front of the existing building.
Okay,
So
great.
those would all be concrete, though.
And speaking of sidewalks, if you could go to an aerial view where you show the addition. So to the northeast, the secondary entry there, up on top, way up on top, north.
Okay.
Phew, I thought I had my directions wrong. Is that going to be a sidewalk there? Okay. Is that designated? I did not see that on, this is the only place I've really seen it, and maybe I'm wrong, because the packet was really good.
There'll be one there, and then there'll also be one out here.
Right. And
That's
those,
part of
because
Mr.
those don't exist, right?
Correct.
Okay. So as long as, I couldn't find them, so I just wanted to make sure that they're designated. If you could, like here, I can see it barely on the landscape plan, and right there
They show up on the
too.
civil drawing.
Right. Okay, I see that. Yeah, just want to. Well, but see, this looks like a different, that looks like a different angle than what is,
So for exiting, there'll be one here that connects, and then for exiting out of the gym, there'll be one there. The main exit, of course, would be, go back to the
Sure.
corridor, but that's just, you know, for exiting.
Okay, so then, well, you say exiting, but that reads secondary entry. So,
For the gym. There's, right.
so they can get
Depending
in.
on, I mean, we're still working things out, but the main entry is here, there's a fitness entry here. Some of the, they may have individuals that, not sure where they're going to come from, and there is a door there as well.
If there's a special event or something going on in the gymnasium, that could be utilized as an
Sure.
entrance.
And-
But
Oh, understand.
primarily, it's an egress.
And up here, you know, there's this green space is still camp space. So that way they don't have to walk all the way around the building, they can walk into the building, you know, from camps.
So then, taking that a step further, can you bring up the photometrics?
I don't know, that's not,
It's not in this, it's not,
Yeah,
we do have
we have it in our
we do have a
packet.
drawing of it, yeah.
I know we have it in our packet.
Sorry. No.
It was,
Right.
yeah.
So if, I mean, if it shows 0, we don't have wall packs on there yet. So we're done with schematic design, that's the concept, and we're moving into design development, so we're still kind of early in the process. But we would have wall packs as well as whatever lighting we need to for the egress requirement, even if it's not shown.
Okay, so here's a case in point. If you look at, I'm looking, so if you can go to that aerial view, where it shows the sidewalk that heads to the west, sidewalk that heads to the east. Well, I'm looking at the photometrics, which is on page 54, I believe, 55. So here, looking at that and trying to compare that to the photometrics, you're at virtually, on the one that's next to the tent there, you're at virtually 0, 0, 0. There's no lighting there at all, based upon the photometrics. So there's no lighting there. And then if you look at the sidewalk, which on the photometrics has the sidewalk going out to the parking lot, I mean, the parking, these lots here, I mean, the parking spaces here that are for the village, that shows it going out to those spots with the sidewalk. Now, this isn't the site plan, this is photometrics, I understand that, but it's still 0, 0 there. So there's no lighting whatsoever, and I know there's spillover from
There'll be spillover
there,
and-
there's spillover,
and-
but I'm not certain that there would be spillover on the one going west. And that needs to be addressed.
There are some lights over to the west that aren't shown. This was like new lighting photometrics?
Right, the existing lighting does not show up on these photometrics. It was only modeling the new proposed lighting. So there are some existing lights that occur in that area that are not reflected on here.
Yeah, now that I see that, because your front entrance shows no lighting at all. And that's not true. So,
You know, so again, we're at the beginning of design development. This is where we're at. So in terms of an exhibit that we could produce to show that will be part of the submittal the permit.
okay, well, then we need to put a condition in there, because it just,
What, here?
our expectation is that we show the photometrics for the property and how it's going to be with the new addition
Sure.
and the existing addition, and it's just not there. And-
Right, it's not there yet. Yeah, so that's great. The condition would be, that we'd be glad to do that.
And also, you need to finalize where these sidewalks are going to be. It's not consistent in your drawings across.
Right. Okay.
Because our expectation is that when it comes to us, it's going to go to the village. And that's the only issue we have,
Okay.
that,
I appreciate that.
what we're showing here.
Yep, we'd be glad to do that.
So what are you adding as a condition?
Are you saying that this diagram on the screen is representative of the sidewalks that you're proposing?
We're saying that, well, what we're saying is that this is what we're intending to do. We have not worked out all of the drawings yet. But if the intent is that we produce an exhibit, then we can produce that exhibit and zero in on that area and
Well, of course, you would have to provide specified exhibit at permit.
yeah.
But what are you talking about? Are you talking about
I'll say
providing
whatever you
one?
guys need us to produce, we'll produce that.
Well, would you, the Plan Commission, be interested in allowing them a bit of flexibility that they would have sidewalks, obviously, at the time of construction, and they would be at the locations of these entries and building
So-
entries, but the actual location of the sidewalk may be adjusted as needed?
So for instance, on the landscape plan, we even have, different, let's see, I'm looking at this exhibit here, which is 54 of our packet. And that actually shows a different sidewalk plan going towards the village hall.
Is it still coming out of that entryway, though?
It is.
Okay.
Sure it is, yeah.
I guess-
Well, it would have to come out of some entryway.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is. But again, you know, I'm okay with giving them the latitude, but it just, then it also doesn't reflect from perspective of photometrics, how that would look. So, I'm not certain how we would put that into a condition, but you can
Mr. Chairman?
magically wordsmith that.
As long as we're on the subject of sidewalks, I'd like to see one that ties in from east to west on the north side of the building, where somebody could actually walk all the way around it without having to make a path in the grass, which would detract from it.
East to west on the north side?
On the north side, so, you know, tie in that secondary entrance to the other sidewalk that's coming from the west side
Is it
somehow.
through the camp area?
Yeah, well, I mean, the idea is that is camp area, so we wouldn't want to
Yeah.
conflict with
Exactly.
whatever games they're playing out there. The spirit of the two walks is the one that goes to the west is for egress, the one to the right is for egress. They both go that way, which get you to the edge of the property line per code. So that's why we don't have anything in between because of the camps.
I just think it'd be nice to be able to walk around the entire building without having to walk through the parking lot out in front of Village Hall.
Okay. Let me see. Okay. So, well, I will bring that up, Commissioner Johnson.
Okay.
As you're doing that, Brooke, I'll have another question. I have a question about the designated drop-off area for the preschool. Is that going to be marked in some manner, drop-off only, through signage right
Yes.
there? Yes, through there.
Yep, that's the intent.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's a great idea. Is that how they do it now? Do you have a separate designated area for drop-off now? I'm just curious. Oh, cool. Great, yeah, and I assume, yeah, and so that's great, yep, excellent, that's good. So, and then you're limiting parking, that's good. So that's all going to be reconfigured, where the preschool park playground right now is going to be, is currently a parking lot, correct, right?
Right.
So then, you mentioned in your, in the article, I saw it the other day, very nice article about this, because very nice. The senior programs, are they going to be on, I assume they're going to be somewhere on the first floor? Or that, yeah, that's probably a loaded question to a certain extent.
Okay, I've heard it before.
Because I'm getting there. I'm probably 20 years away, but I'm getting there.
Senior programs will be held throughout the building, and the whole idea is that it's flexible space within the facility. For many of the programs, though, where the current preschool is, we're going to make that more flexible programming space, and the majority of those programs will be held in that area for seniors.
Great, thank you. Okay, thanks. Brooke, have you worked up something on the sidewalks and the photometrics?
Well, for the photometrics condition, I have, at building permit, a photometrics plan shall be provided that demonstrates adequate light levels for all pedestrian and vehicular access surrounding the CRC.
So most likely from that perspective, you're probably going to have to work with the village to see what their spillage is from the lighting that we have. And can we put something in there that the lighting should match the campus if they have to add lighting?
Well, they've provided
Right.
light fixtures in their plans.
So, yeah, they have, okay, maybe I worded it incorrectly.
Yeah.
So implying that, that it's got to adhere to our code means if they have to put up lights, fixtures, they will put them up based upon the fixtures that they have.
Mr. Chairman.
Or add additional fixtures
Right, but they, yeah,
with the fixtures that they've shown.
right, yes, okay,
That's not us.
right. That's fine, yep.
What was that?
No,
That could be a light
I'm good.
fixture.
Yep, you will, but we just need to make sure that they're, okay.
Can we pull up that other aerial again? The one where we were talking about the sidewalks? One more thing. That one. So around the north side of the new addition, the blue area, what is that? Is that a sidewalk there going along the let's say, the northwest side of the gymnasium? Is that a sidewalk there?
This one here?
Yeah, and then
Yes.
if you follow it up towards the village parking lot, is that a sidewalk there?
This right here?
Yeah.
Yes.
So why couldn't we just go around the other side of the gym at least and get
Yeah,
some
that-
type of sidewalk?
That's what I meant, it's just bridging that little piece there.
Bridging the northeast side of the new gym and connecting it to the secondary entry
To here.
and completing that walk. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, I think the intent is that even this little triangle here, if you think about it, this could be a little square play area. So, the intent is that it's a park. We've met the egress out of the building.
we don't know where that's at yet, but we've met it.
Yeah, so we'd really like to keep as much green as we can.
I would agree with that.
Well, on the landscape plan, you've got trees planted in that little triangle, so it's not going to be good for a whole lot.
So look, actually, back to the sidewalks, and then we'll get to the landscape, the additional sidewalk. Right below the tent, that is actually an existing sidewalk. That right there.
Yeah, if you go to the reason we go to that aerial is it's easier to see than this plan. The actual sidewalk is, if you follow the arrow here, it's not, we've softened it by making it curvy. If you look, you'd have to look pretty hard.
Okay, so there is going to be some additional sidewalk that's going to be added there.
Correct.
I just want to clarify, there's currently a sidewalk in that area, we're kind of reconfiguring it.
Got it.
So, roughly that area, there is one currently, we're just
Right.
making it wind around some of the trees differently.
Okay, all right. So then back to what Commissioner Johnson and Commissioner Powers indicated is if you look at this landscape plan, you've got trees planted in that square, that triangular area there right now. But there is open space there going to the northwest. So I'll poll the folks on whether we should add that sidewalk or not. I'm not necessarily sure it's needed. Because it really, once you get to the other side, you're walking through a parking lot anyway, a drive. Anyway, and I'm not certain that we'd want to encourage that walk. I don't have anything else. So just for clarification, excuse me. And Brooke, maybe we can talk to this. The one statement in the part in your report, one second. You mentioned the addition of future parking would necessitate site plan appearance approval by the Plan Commission. That's in regard to future demands? Is that?
Correct. If there was a need for additional parking, then they would obviously have to come back to the Plan Commission to ask for a site plan change.
Okay, great. All right. Okay. So there were two things that were brought up and about that I'm going to take a poll on. One is the irrigation around the new beddings that are going in, and then the new sidewalk. So right now they're requesting a waiver on the irrigation for the new beddings that are going around the addition, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I'm going to take a poll. Do we grant that waiver, Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanova?
Yes.
Commissioner Powers?
Yes.
Commissioner Dorban?
Yes.
Commissioner Creech?
Yes.
It's immaterial what I say, but I would say yes also. Okay. Sidewalk, we're talking about a sidewalk, and this landscape plan depicts, well, you can see it here in that triangular space there. There's four, right now there are 4 trees, and what Commissioner Johnson, Commissioner Powers recommended was adding a sidewalk from wherever that sidewalk's going to be to the back of the gymnasium. Do you think that's necessary to add? Commissioner Creech?
No.
Commissioner Dorban?
May I ask a question before I answer?
Of course.
Thank you. How much additional sidewalk are we talking about?
I would say that's like 70 feet.
And would the sidewalk that would be added, if it were to be added, who would utilize that sidewalk?
Well, who would use it is a good question. I'm assuming Commissioner intends that it would be maybe perhaps staff or campers. The only reason that the exits are there is to meet the egress code for exiting. The distance is probably 75 lineal feet, so we'd have to run a calculation for that because there's more than just the cost of the concrete, excavation, fill. So the the argument would be that we'd really like to preserve as much green space as possible for the maximum amount of recreational activity for the kids. And even though that pocket might not seem that big, 75 feet is, you know, an area somewhat comparable to a good portion of this room, and that'd be a great recreation space.
And who would be utilizing that sidewalk should it be put in?
It could be building users, it could be staff. There's currently not a sidewalk there now, and they've gotten by without it.
It's not a main point of in and out for the general public, so it wouldn't be utilized very heavily.
Thank you. Then no.
Commissioner Powers.
Yes.
Commissioner Blanova.
No.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes?
And I'm also a no. If there was some purpose to possibly a walking track around there, then that would logically make sense. But I think adding concrete, as you have indicated, that it just wouldn't, it's a sidewalk to nowhere in this case, because it's not going to get a lot of activity. Okay. Are there any other questions, comments?
Can we go to the first floor interior again? Is it, are you changing the stairway that's in there now? It's not on here at all.
Yes, the ornamental stair that's in the atrium space now is going away. That planter is going away. That hopefully is viewed as a really good thing. It's kind of in the way.
Well, they decorated it nice in the
Well, they
holidays.
still decorate. The new exit stair is right here. And so the exiting, there's a stair right here for exiting, a stair here for exiting, and a stair here for exiting.
So that's the
So it's
main
all-
stairway right up in front
Correct.
there?
So it's met.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Is there any other, are there any other questions? Brooke, can you again please read the conditions, and I assume those are on the site plan?
Right. There are I have two conditions for the site plan and appearance approval, docket PC 17-16. That is, one, that the West Drive aisle width shall be adjusted at permit to meet code. And two, at building permit, a photometrics plan shall be provided that demonstrates adequate light levels for all pedestrian and vehicular access surrounding the CRC.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Can you read the West Drive aisle one again and what the implication of that is? We do have a couple routes where you can go with that.
The condition comes from the engineering memo, but I'll reread that. It is that the West Drive aisle width shall be adjusted at permit to meet code.
Okay, so this drive aisle, you mean this drive aisle? This drive aisle is 24.5 feet wide. The engineering has recommended that it be 26.5 feet wide. For budgetary reasons, what we're requesting is that when we do the new preschool parking and drop-off zone, that we make that section of it 26.5 feet wide, and that we leave the remainder up here, which we're not touching at the current condition. So that which we touch, we fix, that which we don't stays.
I think that's fine. The only condition, or I guess the only part of the code that said it had to be 26.5 feet wide is if there's a single, excuse me, a single row of parking stalls there. So because there's a single row of parking stalls, that's where the drive aisle has to be 26.5 feet. And then if you go further north where there's no parking stalls, it could remain the same. Is that kind of?
No, I guess what I mean is that, you know, this area we're tearing up, so it would be easy to widen that.
Yeah, that's what
he's saying.
That's what
he said.
Okay, so I will clarify that condition. Just give me one moment.
Yeah, that's okay.
So that the west drive aisle width that is adjacent to the new parking shall be adjusted at permit to meet code.
We're suggesting with this incredibly precise thing here that it be about right here. Okay.
Yeah, everything below that would have to be a 26 and a half foot drive width. Everything north of that, since there's no parking stalls, it can remain the same.
Do I ever hear a motion on 2017-11 variation from Title 19 zoning related to building height?
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Commissioner Johnson, second by Commissioner Dorban. Mr. Secretary?
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Dorban?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanova?
Yes.
Commissioner Creech?
Yes.
Commissioner Powers votes yes. Chairman Rafato?
Yes. Do I hear a motion on PC 17-16 with the conditions listed, site plan and appearance approval of a building addition?
So moved.
Do I,
Yes.
motion by Commissioner Blanova, second by, who made?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Dorban. Blanova and Dorban. Mr. Secretary?
Commissioner Blanova?
Yes.
Commissioner Dorban?
Yes.
Commissioner Creech?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Powers votes yes. Chairman Rafato?
Yes. You'll have a few things to sign. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Beautiful addition to the campus.
On behalf of the team, thank you very much.
That building's got a lot of use for, I mean, I walked with that, for that first building. Boy, you get a lot, and look at what it's turned into. It's really good.
Good. It's going to look beautiful, Jan.
Good job. How do you guys start? You guys gonna...
Yeah.
Good luck.
Took my grandkids to the aquatic center a couple of weeks ago. Had a blast. It's been years since I've been there.
Huh?
I haven't went down one of the slides. I will. Sign them all, and then you get a copy, and we get a copy.
Nope.
Night.
Thank you. Thanks. Nice presentation.
And those two are used, that has the conditions on it, so you can take that. Thank you, Jim. Motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so let's take a 3-minute break, please. 3 minutes. That's it.
Gonna keep going?
Calling docket number PC 17-17, Hawthorne Global Aviation, South Milwaukee Avenue at Tower Road. Site plan and appearance approval of a new hangar building. Ms. Jones, anything to add?
I'll start. No, actually, I don't have anything at this time.
Okay, great. Petitioners are here. And if you could just state your names as you come up and speak. Great, thank you.
Sure, I'm actually listed as the petitioner, Peter Fazio Jr. I'm the owner of Chapel Design Build.
Okay, great, thank you. And?
David Annan, I'm the general manager and owner's rep for Hawthorne Aviation.
Great. The floor is yours.
Well, really, we're basically, Hawthorne is looking to construct a 35,000 square foot airport hangar with an attached tenant space near its existing hangar just south. Hawthorne seeks to grow in order to meet the demands for corporate aviation services in the Chicago area. It's basically a very simple proposition. It's very similar, almost exact to what we have put up just across the property line here. And we're not looking for any variations. Did you want to add anything at all?
No, just simply that the proposed structure, hangar and office structure, is consistent with the airport layout plan and has been approved by the airport. We've received all the airspace requirements from the FAA, and any of the engineering comments from the airport's engineers have been incorporated within our plans. So it's a building that's slightly smaller than our existing building, but our request is and intent is to build a building that, through its design standards, is consistent with our existing complex, both hangar and office. It's slightly smaller, like I said, but other than that, its design orientation and features are consistent with our existing structure.
So can you describe the materials that you're putting up for us?
Well, it's a pre-engineered Butler building.
If you can just get closer to the microphone. Sure. Thank you.
Sure, like the existing one, it's a pre-engineered Butler building with a metal exterior and a brick wainscot coming up 4 feet up the wall. And the office area will be constructed fully of brick. I'm not sure how much more you want.
And colors? Are these the appropriate colors, if you can describe the colors to us?
Yeah, the colors and actually it's about an 8 or 9 foot knee wall around the exterior of the hangar with the steel, insulated steel panel on top of it for the hangar. The office building has the same block style around as the 9 feet around the hangar. But the color, the main field is what we're calling aspen cream. It's a light variegated or blended color, and the blending in that block will be consistent with the darker color that is the base and the band. So it will all tie together aesthetically.
Anything else that you want to add?
No, I think it's, again, as Peter said, it's consistent with our existing building, and we're really not seeking any variances. Again, all the airspace height requirements and issues like that are significant and required by the airport have been satisfied.
And those are probably the things that don't impact us.
Probably not.
I'll go to the commission. Commissioner Dorban.
Thank you. I've gone through this packet. I'm hard pressed to ask you questions because I went through it and then I went through it again looking to find something to really question you about, and I can't. I guess my only concern would be the fire department comments. If you could, is there anything, any concern that you have?
No, Chief McIsaac met with somebody from the petitioner's management team last week, I believe, or early this week. and had some discussions, and the petitioner is willing to work and address the concerns that we do have in the project, and it would appear that those will all be taken care of during the permitting and construction phase.
Okay, then I have no other questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Blanova.
Thank you. I don't have any questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Creech.
It's pretty straightforward. I have no questions. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Powers.
Thanks. The location of the HVAC screening, is that above the office area?
Yes.
So all the HVAC units will be on top of the office area?
Yeah, there is no HVAC in the hangar itself, so
Okay.
the only HVAC units for the office building are on top of the office.
And what kind of screen material will be used for to screen the HVAC units, do you know?
It'll be a metal screening.
Metal screening, and will that have like, is that like what the green color is there on the rendering? Up at the top on the
Yes,
bottom?
yes, it'll be made of like materials.
Okay. The only other question I have is, if we could bring up the site plan, you talked about a potential proposed addition in the access road. Where would that be? Could you just show me at a high level where would that be on this plan if that did come to fruition?
Yeah, so proposed phase 2 would be in this general area here.
Okay.
And secondary access points would come off of Tower Road in this location and provide access onto the apron as well.
Okay, so in a case where the fire department, you didn't do the addition, that's where that access road will go in at some point in time? Is that right? Is that how I read that?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Maybe the exact location, if that wasn't done, would be
But it's on the
determined,
far west end of the
Correct.
property? Okay.
And just to clarify, if I may, it's not a building addition to this, it would be a separate building, correct?
That's correct. It wouldn't be attached.
Oh, no, yeah, I kind of thought it would be a separate building. So it may even be like another hangar?
Correct.
Okay. I mean, really, that's really all I have. Thank you.
Commissioner Johnson.
I have nothing further.
My only comment is that I have two. I wish the front of the building, since it faces Milwaukee Avenue, would be a bit more decorative. Because it just, it doesn't have the style of the, your letter, from Chapel here, that picture there of that building. I mean, that's a beautiful building. And it just doesn't have that style. It's unfortunate because that is right on Milwaukee Avenue.
Well, I do believe with lighting and landscaping, it will have quite a lovely,
Okay, I'll rely on your input because that's it. And then one of the, and you may have mentioned it in here, the gutters, are they internal to the building? Are the gutters?
They're interior on the office portion, they're exterior on the hangar.
Okay, which you can't see, great. And the other, I see signage, but signage is not part of the packet.
Not right now.
Not right now. Okay, so you have to come before us again.
Correct.
Signage, and it could be, if it's within code, it could be a consent item, so, okay, great. Are there any other questions?
Yeah, I got one more.
Sure.
The trash enclosure, can you explain it a little bit? It was some kind of a metal trash enclosure, the gate, actual gate on that?
There is a gate on it. 3 sides of the trash enclosure
Oh,
will
you
be
brought a
exactly
picture.
as you see it here, which is, and 3 sides are consistent to the same material used on the building itself with a steel, rigid steel gate. That's our existing facility.
Oh, okay. That's the one in further south?
Correct.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah, you sent that in a separate,
Yes, we
Right, the
received
picture.
that
Yes, yeah.
Monday, probably.
Oh, I forgot to.
yep, great.
I have nothing else.
Any other questions? Do I hear a motion on docket number PC 17-17?
So moved.
You've got to.
Louder.
Louder.
Okay, just,
You got to be as loud as the rest of us.
so
We have a
moved.
motion by
Second.
Commissioner, and a motion by Commissioner Blanova, second by Commissioner Johnson,
And there's conditions?
and with the conditions. I'm sorry. I'm just,
We have two conditions. One, as noted in the letter submitted September 8, 2017, if construction of Phase 2, which is the hangar pad directly northwest of the subject pad, has not yet commenced within 3 years of site plan and appearance approval, then secondary access drives shall be installed to satisfy the requirements of the fire department. And two, the drive aisle widths and other turning radius shall be adjusted at permit to meet the requirements of the fire department.
motion with those conditions by Commissioner Blanova and second by Commissioner Johnson. Mr. Secretary?
Commissioner Blanova.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Creech.
Yes.
Commissioner Dorban.
Yes.
Commissioner Powers votes yes, and Chairman Rafato.
Yes. Thank you. You'll just have one thing to sign. Yeah, petitioner. That's fine, yep. As long as it's a designation that somebody acknowledges that they have it. You can, one's for you, so if you want to sign yours, you can sign yours also. You have one. Great, we have one. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Night.
Approved?
If you like, sure.
Approval of minutes, August 24th, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Other business. Brooke, do you have any other business? Do you have other business?
I just would like to announce that the September 28th Plan Commission meeting has been canceled. It's been canceled so that the Plan Commissioners can attend the Taste of the Town that evening.
And speaking of the Taste of the Town, everyone should have received an email today from Lisa.
Yes.
So if you do intend on going, please contact her. It's a very nice event. Unfortunately, I'm going to be out of town, and they want you to RSVP by September 22nd. It's a really, really nice event. And so that was the only thing?
Yes.
Great. I have other business. With Commissioner Zangara was our Secretary Pro Tem, and he is no longer on the commission. I am in need of we are in need of a Secretary Pro Tem. Commissioner Johnson is Chairman Pro Tem. I am looking for a Secretary Pro Tem. Will anybody volunteer before we?
The line starts where?
Line starts here, and if not, then I'm going to have to take some paper, and we're going to have to.
Go ahead.
Yeah, maybe.
Commissioner Blanova.
Commissioner Blanova has put her hat into the ring, or I mean her name into the ring, into the hat, whatever. Are we all in favor of Commissioner Blanova?
Sure.
Of course.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
So Commissioner Blanova is our Secretary Pro Tem. Commissioner Powers, you can work with Commissioner Blanova when you are going to be gone. Okay. So other business, Commissioner Johnson.
Nothing, sir.
Commissioner Blanova.
Nothing, I'm just excited.
Commissioner Powers.
I have nothing.
Commissioner Dorban.
Yes, I did want to dovetail on your comment about the Chamber of Commerce Taste of the Town. It is September 28th. It is at the Westin Hotel. We do have 23 restaurants going to be there. The cost is $35. And if you would call the chamber office, we can get you tickets. And the chamber office number is 847-541-0170, and I will be glad to help you. That's all I have.
Commissioner Creech.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have nothing.
Okay, I have a couple of things. One, I want to thank the village's technology staff for the new iPads and turning them around as quickly as they did. They are absolutely wonderful. They render quicker. I'm not twiddling my thumbs as Andy's packets, and it's no fault of the staff. It's just that these packets are getting so big, so detailed that it's good for us, but on the older iPads, it was taking so long to bring those up, and I want to thank the staff for turning that around as quickly as they did. Sam, thank you very much. And the other thing is, the gas station on the corner of 83 and Dundee.
Oh, yeah.
That's open? Is it open? Are they selling gas? Because there's no signage and it looks like it's always closed.
You know, they were supposed to change their name and.
Right. Yep.
I don't know exactly, sorry.
Okay.
I haven't heard that it's closed, but we may not have done, a drive-by to verify that recently.
You have heard that it's closed?
No, I haven't heard that
Oh,
it's
okay.
closed,
It's
but
just,
we might
well,
not have
right.
done our inspection to verify that.
Yeah, and it's, whenever I drive by there, it's probably because there's no signage, and I don't know how they're making any money.
I saw some guys digging something at the corner. I thought maybe they were getting ready to put the sign back up, but that was last week.
Okay. It's a hot piece of property, and they're not making any money, so, but anyway. Oh, okay. If there is nothing else, do I hear a motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.